Welcome back, Roadrunners. Now, Nina Dadabhoy joins us for our Politalk segment. Nina?
Thanks, Ben. President Obama and Governor Romney resumed their campaigns yesterday following the devastating superstorm that rocked the East Coast. The candidates each got down to blasting each other's policies. As the hours tick down, let's take a look at what each candidate says they have to offer. If you could pin Obama's first term down to one key word, it would be reform. Obama took office in the midst of the largest economic recession since the Great Depression. He signed a Recovery Act to get the economy back on track. Did it work? According to the Obama campaign, it helped add back millions of jobs. Obama also acted loudly and proudly about women's right to equal pay.
The first bill I signed was something called the Lilly Ledbetter bill. And that's an example of the kind of advocacy that we need, because women are increasingly the breadwinners in the family.
He also signed the Affordable Care Act. Because of it, Obama says that 3.1 million Americans have more insurance. 3.6 million seniors and Americans with disabilities have insurance. And now, over 17 million kids with pre-existing conditions can't be denied coverage.
That here in America, in the wealthiest nation on earth, no illness or accident should lead to any family's financial ruin.
He ended the war in Iraq and took down some of al-Qaeda's most famous leaders.
That the United States has conducted an operation that killed Osama bin Laden, the leader of al-Qaeda.
In his second term, President Obama says he plans to keep moving forward on jobs, taxes, energy, education, foreign policy, and healthcare. Now on to the former governor of Massachusetts, Mitt Romney. He's maintained a close race with President Obama throughout the campaign season. His experience as a CEO and governor holds weight with many Americans. Romney offers a 5-point plan which can be found on his website. The first point is achieving energy independence and boosting the manufacturing industry. His second point includes a new trade policy as well as bringing back jobs from overseas. The next part of Romney's plan focuses on education, both public and higher, as well as better retraining programs for the unemployed. The fourth point hopes to cut the deficit and reduce the size of government. The final portion of his plan would reduce taxes and regulation on small businesses as well as tax reform for all Americans. Romney holds a strong stance against the president's policies and plan for a Secretary of Business.
With 3 million more women in poverty today than when he took office, with 15 more million people on food stamps than when he took office, he's got to find something to suggest it's going to be better over the next 4 years. And so we came up with an idea last week, which is he's going to create the Department of Business. We don't need a Secretary of Business to understand business. We need a president who understands business, and I do. And that's why I'll help be able to get this economy going.
These two candidates are in a close race for those 270 electoral votes, so make sure your vote is in by November 6th. Now, taking a look closer to home, the amendments on the ballot this year, starting with the least controversial Amendment S. This measure, which was introduced to the state legislature earlier this year, would change aspects to the state personnel system. The amendment would implement certain testing methods for job applicants, restrict the number of finalists for government jobs, place limits on hiring temporary workers, and require that applicants be residents of the state of Colorado. While some think this measure could give the governor too much power, others say it will improve customer service for everyone who interacts with the state. Now on to Amendment 65, which is also known as the Colorado Corporate Contributions Amendment. Now, to understand this amendment, let's step back a few years. In 2010, the United States Supreme Court faced a landmark case, Citizens United versus the Federal Election Commission. In that, the court held that the government cannot restrict independent political expenditures by corporations and unions due to First Amendment rights. However, some say that by calling the money a form of free speech, the court is using the First Amendment to bless political corruption. The ballot seeks to charge state lawmakers with furthering the state's policy on the matter and asks congressional delegates to support efforts to overrule the Citizens United decision by amending the U.S. Constitution. Now, arguably the most controversial of them all, Amendment 64. This ballot question looks to, with regulation, legalize marijuana. Amendment 64 would make the personal use, possession, and home growing of marijuana legal for adults 21 years of age and older. It establishes a system in which marijuana is regulated and taxed, similar to alcohol. There are many local officials, including Denver Mayor Michael Hancock, who are against the initiative, stating that smoking marijuana permanently affects brain development, impairs learning ability, and contributes to depression. Now I send it back to the desk for more political coverage. Ben?
Thanks, Nina. Deciding who to vote for can be a complicated decision. This week, 2 political analysts visited Auraria and gave students tips on what to think about when voting for the next president. Paula Ruelas has more.
The presidential election is days away, and there are many issues shaping its outcome. But according to Christine Pelosi and Tammy Bruce, the most important is
jobs. People need jobs.
It's clearly the economy.
Voting for president and the issues they support is an important decision. And while some are decided voters,
on Tuesday I'll be voting for Barack Obama.
I'm actually going to vote for Mitt Romney.
others are not.
I'm truly undecided.
And for those of you students who are still undecided, Bruce and Pelosi have some advice.
If you agree that 4 years of what we've had is not going to be good enough again, you need to make that choice.
First of all, stand up for your generation. Be the voice of your generation. Young people are on the cusp of greatness.
Voting starts at 7 a.m. on Tuesday, November 6th, so be sure to stop by a voting location and have your voice heard. Paula Ruelas, The Met Report.
Thanks, Paula. And for more information about where the candidates stand on the issues, be sure to visit their websites.
Colorado is one of 7 key swing states that will determine this election. Over $36.8 million has already been spent by the candidates themselves and $3.5 million by PACs on local and state races. It is clear that in Colorado our vote is crucial in shaping the 2012 general election. Denver city and county residents have 3 different options to vote. Vote by mail, vote early, or vote on election day. If you requested a mail ballot, you can drop off your ballot at any voter service center, 24-hour ballot drop box, or election day polling place. Early voting ends today, Friday, November 2nd, and can be done at any of the 13 voter service centers across the city. In case you do miss these early voting options, Denver will have 149 polling centers open on Tuesday, November 6th from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., including Tivoli Room 261. So get out there so you can make your voice heard.